The Escacena project is located in the southeast of the Iberian Pyrite Belt in southwest Spain, and is Pan Global's flagship project. This 4-minute film will give you an introduction into La Romana copper-silver tin discovery, and the exploration program that is currently underway. So let's get started. The Romana discovery is essentially a blind deposit, concealed below shallow post-mineral carbonate cover and only exposed in 2 small areas. Both of these windows are highlighted on the map, and you can see that one of them is coincident with old underground workings. When we commenced work at La Romana, we only had partial data from a handful of wide-space drill holes drilled by Exxon in the past. These are now highlighted on the map. Some of these holes reported narrow intervals of copper mineralization, but the information could not be verified. Being a blind deposit and not having much to work with, we have relied heavily on geophysics. This includes conventional gravity, IP, downhole EM, and regional Heliborne Electromagnetics. What you are seeing is the residual gravity image over the deposit and the position of the IP lines. There is a strong positive gravity anomaly that we believe is being produced by the mineralization and hydrothermal alteration. The IP also shows a strong coincidence with the sulfide mineralization. Since we started drilling in 2019, we have completed over 160 diamond drill holes into the system. The collars and the traces are now being shown on the map. Currently, the rigs are operating on the western extensions of the deposit. By removing the overburden, the interpreted subcrop of the mineralization can now be seen along the unconformity surface for over 1.2 kilometers. And given the results of the geophysics, we are confident that we are seeing indications that the system may continue for a further 800 meters to the west. It is also worth noting that the current drill pattern has not closed the system off to the north either. Now you are seeing a 3-dimensional view of the deposit. It is a copper-silver tin sulfide system that dips approximately 38 degrees to the north. We have sulfide intersections of over 50 meters and with individual assays of up to 22% copper. The core photographs now being shown will help visualize the paragenesis of the system. The main copper phase is chalcopyrite, that is replacing earlier pyrite, as shown on the left image. This process can lead to almost complete replacement, as being shown in the center images. On the right, the photo shows how the primary sulfides are overprinted by later supergene chalcocite in a secondary enrichment process. This generally occurs in the upper parts of the deposit closer to the unconformity. Metallurgical test work has delivered favorable results. A concentrate grading 23.8% from 89% recovery was produced from a sample with a head grade of 0.39% copper. The concentrate contained low amounts of deleterious elements and required a low energy input for grain size reduction. Back to the model now. One of the most interesting features at Romana is the tin, which is now being shown in the model on screen. Core logging observations and petrology has identified the tin phase as cassiterite and not tin sulfide. Neves Corvo is the only other VMS system in the Pyrite Belt that contains significant amounts of cassiterite. At Romana, the tin is coincident with the main copper zone in the western part of the deposit, and we now have a MET test work program in progress to help understand its performance. The hydrothermal alteration is another aspect of the system that has been studied in some detail. Using geological observations and geochemical analysis using the chlorite carbonate pyrite index and the alteration index, we have observed alkali depletion, especially sodium and calcium, in both the footwall and the hanging wall. This extends several hundreds of meters away from the main mineralization in both directions. Closer to the main mineralized zone, chlorite development replaces primary features and is most intense proximal to the sulfides. These observations indicate that Romana is more closely related to a subsea floor replacement deposit, although we have not ruled out an exhalative component as well. To conclude now, we have zoomed out to see the entire 5,700 hectare tenement package that we are actively exploring. A portfolio of 12 targets have been identified and a number have been initially drilled with recon holes. We have intersected copper, polymetallic sulfide mineralization and copper-gold mineralization at 4 of these prospects during this broad-spaced regional drilling. We have an exciting year ahead, and on behalf of all of the Pan Global Board of Directors and technical team on the ground in Spain, I would like to thank you for your attention.